What's up, everybody? Happy free agency to the basketball world, to the fantasy world. It's your boy, Rick Kamla. Let's go. I'm solo today, but I got this. There's so much news going on, man. We'll get Hall of Famer Dr. A back very soon, but it's you and me today, all right? And there's, my goodness, the SGA news, LeBron stuff. I can't wait to get into all of this with you. I want to tell you about our amazing sponsor, Bet Online, before we dive into this monstrous fantasy show, the Fantasy NBA today. Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season's in full swing. You can monetize that. Football season's right around the corner. Bet Online has all the ways you need to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting. They've got MLB, UFC, tennis, NFL futures. Bet Online remains your choice for sports wagering info. And in between games, head over to the Bet Online casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. Head to the website today, betonline.com, and take advantage of their industry-leading VIP program with level-up bonuses and weekly cash boosts. Bet Online. The game starts here. We start the show with news about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His life gets even better. He agreed to a 4-year, $285 million Supermax contract with the world champion Oklahoma City Thunder for $285. I guess I need to mark that down on my depth chart. This just came down like a minute ago. There's no fantasy spin with this or anything like that. It just is what it is. 4 and $285. For SGA. Good for him, man. And look, what this guy did, one of the best seasons of all time. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Had he even lost the NBA Finals to Halliburton and the Pacers, he's still getting that same exact payday. So good for SGA. It is his world. He is making a hard charge for the best player in the world. I still have Jokic in that position, but SGA definitely closed the gap with the season he had and winning MVP. So good for SGA. The great Andre Lamouche is going to feed me live news. It's 10:07 a.m. Eastern time. So I am anticipating some news coming through. We got, an absolute ton of it yesterday. I mean, like we talked about, drinking out of a fire hose. But it's that kind of year, and I love it. Popcorn popping. It's very entertaining. And so is this possibility. The Lakers and LeBron James appear to be unzippering right now. And I don't do hot takes. I'm not a shock jock. But to say that after the run that he's had in LA and after the loyalty and after how rooted he's been in LA, it sounds like a hot take pouring out of my mouth. But and look, they could hug it out and move forward, and he could play 2 more years there. But that's not the way it's sounding right now. It's sounding like the Luka move was the beginning of the end of LeBron James in Los Angeles. Okay. And like, obviously, eventually that was going to be the case regardless with his retirement. But I feel like the Luka trade created a directional pivot for Genie Bus Rob Pelinka and Mr. Walter, the Dodgers owner, who just bought the LA Lakers from the Bus family, which is, by the way, a move I never thought would happen. I thought I would die. I thought God would come to get me, and the Bus family would still own the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, tomorrow's not promised, every day is a blessing from God, but I don't know when he's going to come get me. But I figured that day, hopefully long from now, the Bus family would still own the Lakers. It's like if the Harrison family sold the Heat, I'd be like, what? If the Holt family sold the Spurs, I'd be like, what? When the Miller family sold the Jazz, I was like that. Okay, but I'm super happy that the Taylor family sold the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, I'm really, really geeked about that because I'm back as a Timberwolves fan because of that very, very, very important fact. And again, the Wolves would not have the offseason that they've had, the banner offseason they've had with Glenn Taylor running the show. Thank God he's not. All right, so let's get into some intel here. Ramona Shelburne, super plugged in with the Lakers. I personally believe that Ramona Shelburne, okay, Like, she can't tell her sources, but I can speculate about her sources. I can do that. And I love Ramona. I think she's absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, no disrespect with this, but, and this is reading between the lines, being a journalist myself, of the intel that she gets. And then you can kind of, I don't know, like deduce or like deconstruct it and like kind of figure out, if you really want to analyze it, where it came from. Okay. Like a lot of times with Woj, I could kind of figure out, all right, that's coming straight from Daryl Morey. I could just figure it out, right? So I have a feeling that Ramona Shelburne is either in with Linda Rambis or Jeannie Buss. I feel like maybe it's both, okay? But the Rambis family, Linda and Kurt, very, very, very involved with the Lakers, have been for a long, long time. Decision-making and personnel and, I don't know like how involved, but I know they're involved. And I know that Jeannie listens to them, okay? So I feel like Ramona's intel is coming from that, which is obviously an incredible source, okay? That's just my speculation. But when Ramona Shelburne reports on the Lakers, and look, I respect her reporting on every team in this league, but when it's the Lakers, it just, I don't know, maybe it has a little bit more weight. I don't know how to describe it. It's like when Windhorst talks about LeBron James. He's covered his entire career, okay? Like Windy knows Bron. He just does. So who's another one here? John Gambadoro, when he reports on the Suns, it's the gospel, okay? That you just learn this stuff. John Krasinski, anything he says about the Wolves is spot the frick on, okay? You just learn this stuff covering this game for as long as I have. So for Ramona Shelburne to say the Lakers are not consulting with LeBron James this year is massive. What used to happen, and I can take you through this whole chronology, LeBron and Rich Paul had their hand on the steering wheel of the Los Angeles Lakers. They ran the team. Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss would never like say that. It's okay. I can do that for them. LeBron ran the team, okay? In concert with everybody, but he had the loudest voice in the boardroom. There were people that wanted to trade for, gotta forget who from Sacramento, Buddy Hield, with a Kyle Kuzma trade. DeRozan was another name that they were looking at. They went for Russell Westbrook, okay, because Bron wanted Westbrook, and it was a horror show. Like, God bless everybody involved. It was a really crappy fit. And then they threw Russ under the bus, and it just got ugly, okay? After that, Jeannie went, gimme that. And Rob went, gimme that, is in the steering wheel. And then it was a little bit of a blended approach. And so now, how much Lucas said he didn't know, about some of the coaching moves. I don't believe that he had nothing to do with the Redick hiring. I do not believe that at all. Obviously, Bron had something to do with Bronny getting there, okay? But it's a 55th pick in the draft, and like if I'm the Lakers, I'm like, yeah, let's bring in Bronny. Like, why not? It's the 55th pick in the draft, okay? So, okay, that's a Bron production, but low key, the guy never plays, right? 15th man or whatever he is. Who cares? If I'm Jeannie and Rob, yeah, have your son around. I don't care. He's a pretty good player. Okay, he's a prospect. Let's go with the flow here. The Luka trade. How much did Bron have to say about that? Did Bron know about that in advance? I literally don't know about that. It feels very cloak and dagger. It feels very, middle of the night with nobody watching. I don't know. Did Bron know about that or not? Maybe not. They traded out his boy, AD, for Luka, who he obviously likes, and so all that. And now we get this, right? The treatment of Dorian Finney-Smith pissing him off. He goes to Houston, okay? I bet you Bron wanted Dorian Finney-Smith back. Dorian Finney-Smith is a dog. Everybody likes playing with DFS. So the fact that Ramona says they're not consulting with LeBron James is huge. Let's get into what Shams Charania said about this situation, which is percolating as we speak. Shams Charania said, the Lakers are prioritizing 2-year deals right now. They want to have space to offer a max contract in 2027. We're in 2025, guys. Okay. The Lakers are thinking 2 years out. I'm going to stop right there. The Lakers thinking 2 years out is an indication that it's exactly what Ramona said. They're not consulting with LeBron. Do you think LeBron James for years has said F them picks? Okay, he always wants to trade picks for studs and get better. Now, kind of my theory in the Cam dynasty, okay, I appreciate it. I do. The Lakers are thinking in a different way here. This is a specific example of what Ramona is talking about. There's no way LeBron wants the Lakers to prioritize deals 2 years from now. There's no way. That's exact opposite of how he wants them to operate. Okay, I'll continue. They want to have space to offer a max contract in 2027. So that would be a replacement for Bron. That would be the running mate for Luka. And by the way, they're going to have to max out Austin Reeves next summer. He declined that little pesky, 4 years and 90. And Austin Reeves laughed at that, I'm sure, and said, nah, I'm good, bro. Y'all are going to trade Bron. I'm going to have a massive year, and I'm going to get a max contract in the summer of 2026. Hey, Reeves, you go get it, bro. Go get it. And so Shams also says here, we're seeing a moment of truth between LeBron James and the Lakers. Da, 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 right? Ooh, I got to do that twice. Now, we move on to a Dave McMenamin report here. The Lakers are looking to save cap space for 2027 free agency period to potentially sign a max-level player. So he's reporting that. And McMenamin continues here. Or is this Shams right here? My notes are a little bit weird, but I think this was McMenamin. He says, though DFS was a popular locker room figure, helped the Lakers to a 14-6 record in the 20 games he started in the regular season. LA exercised discipline in its negotiations to preserve cap space for 2027 when the team expects to have space to sign a max salary free agent. So they said goodbye to Dorian Finney-Smith for 2 years from now. I promise you that pisses off LeBron James. Absolutely, positively, LeBron's maybe even sideways right now. How dare these guys go behind my back, think 2 years from now. Rich Paul may be working right now on a Bron trade to the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, and the Dallas Mavericks, after all of it, may get Bron and come out looking really, really good from this whole thing. And obviously the Lakers will move forward with Luka and all the stuff they get from Dallas for LeBron James, which is going to be a haul. And I think everybody's going to be happy here, actually. And we get one more report here from Shams. This was put out by Legion Hoops. It said LeBron James will look to finish his career with another team if he feels he can't compete for a championship with the Lakers. That was per Shams. And Legion Hoops adds, it could really be happening. Legion Hoops, to my two favorite, other than, of course, Sports Ethos and, Ethos Fantasy NBA and, all of our things, outside of all of that, my favorite follows are Legion Hoops and NBA Central. I got to throw Clutch Points in there, too. I like those. But, like, for blurbs and stuff like that, follows, pardon me. I need a little sip of water here. You guys got to follow at Ethos Fantasy NBA. You got to get our app, okay? Download our app. It's free. Favorite app store. We've got all the comprehensive blurbs. So anytime a dude is signed, anytime Shea gets paid, any transaction or move at all, we've got it on the Sports Ethos app. Just a scroll of your thumb. It's that easy. And make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed to not miss any of our episodes during the off season. That's highly recommended from your boys over here. Alrighty then. I got to give a huge shout out to Scoop Robinson. Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, scoopb.com. Go check him out. I got to give him a huge shout out. I had him on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla yesterday. And I forget the question that got us into it. But I said, I remember the question. I said, is there a snowball's chance in hell that LeBron is traded this offseason? And he proceeded, I don't know if he gave me a yes, but he proceeded to go on a long, long, awesome, detailed report about his relationship with Kyrie. Kyrie reaching out to him and saying, I want you to come to Dallas. LeBron ending that conversation with, I'll think about it. We know the relationship they have. We know the connection with Anthony Davis that LeBron James has. Bron may be boys with Mark Cuban, and I know Cubes doesn't run the show anymore, but he's still Mr. Maverick down there. I don't know if Bron and Cube are boys. I presume they are because billionaires usually like hanging out with each other. I don't know. So I've heard. But guys, I want to tantalize you right now, okay? Because Scoop mentioned a possible package for LeBron yesterday, being Andre, help me out. Was it Gafford or Lively? I think it was Gafford. It was Klay Thompson. It was PJ Washington and Max Christie. Okay, Max Christie would be a bench player. I don't care, but he'd go back to the Lakers, so that's kind of cool. Klay, his father, Michael, is the radio analyst for the Lakers. That would be cool. PJ Washington, would be freed from what I see a really terrible role for him as constructed right now. And then you would have, whichever center went to LA would thrive, okay? Whether it be Gafford or Lively. So that's the package Scoop mentioned. So with that, I'm already getting out in front of this. I'm actually, yesterday I said, I'm putting the odds on LeBron getting traded to Dallas or really anywhere at 25%. I now think it's 50-50. And one day with this is very, very important reporting right here by Ramona and Chams and McMiniman, who are all beyond plugged in with the LA Lakers. McMiniman's another guy. When he reports on the Lakers, you can take it to the bank, baby. McMiniman's my boy. I go way back with him. He used to be on NBA with NBA.com in the early days when I was with NBA TV before ESPN smartly picked him up and his career just shot like a rocket. Dave McMiniman's my boy. Shout out and blessings and congrats to all his success, man. I'm happy for him. But a LeBron James trade to Dallas would be a game changer for fantasy basketball. One of my favorite little sayings is a whale in the swimming pool, right? Like when at midnight on some Saturday night a few while back, Luka traded for Davis. That's a whale in the swimming pool move. Like you're having a pool party, everything's cool, and all of a sudden a whale that's twice as big as your pool is dropped into your pool. And it craters your pool, it ruins your backyard. It's a whale in your freaking pool, okay? That's what a LeBron James trade to Dallas would be, a whale in your swimming pool. So let me take you through how this would be a game changer. I came up with, and Andre, maybe keep me honest here, because maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think so. I'm pretty thorough. But I got eight like pluses that this trade would create in fantasy basketball. Because as is, right, Bron and Reeves and Luka are going to get their numbers. And, in Dallas, we're a little crowded in Dallas. Okay, you got the two centers. PJ Washington doesn't have a role with Flag coming in. And you're kind of barren in the backcourt. And it's just weird, right? All right, so here's what would happen if Bron's traded to the Mavericks. LeBron James would play at least 2 more seasons. LeBron James, in my opinion, would not leave LA for Dallas. LeBron loves LA. His production company's in LA. His family's in LA. He loves the whole scene, right? Having lunch with DiCaprio and like all the stuff you do in LA. He loves that. I would love that, okay? You're not going to leave that, your nest, for Dallas in the middle of America. It's a great city. Love Dallas, but it's not LA. You're not leaving LA for Dallas for 1 year. In my opinion, okay, anything can happen here, but that's not how I read it. I think LeBron would be going to Dallas for a 2-year gig, and maybe more, but probably a 2-year gig, and then I'm going to tap out. So there's that. I think going to Dallas would extend LeBron's career. That's pretty important. I believe Kyrie Irving would come back sooner. Okay. And I'm not saying that these medical teams will never, ever recklessly and irresponsibly fast track a guy. They will never do that. Okay. But there is a different mindset in a recovery and in a rehab. If Bron is on your team, I'm just telling you, man, maybe Kyrie works out a little harder. Maybe if it's an 11 month, maybe now it's a 9.5 month. I don't know. I just feel like if Bron's traded to Dallas, the stakes are raised to a point where Kyrie would come back a little bit earlier. And again, nothing reckless or anything like that. I just feel like, because they like to be precautious and wait and wait and wait and wait then a little bit longer and then wait just a little bit longer. Maybe that waiting, all that little bit longer stuff doesn't happen, right? With LeBron James there. All right, number 3. I believe Anthony Davis would be more energized, more motivated, and held more accountable with LeBron James there. Anthony Davis's best ball has been with Bron. He was a great stat guy in New Orleans, right? But he rarely played, okay? So the attendance thing picked up because Bron's there. He's 50, playing every game. Yo, I need you to play through. You got knee in the hip or, knee in the thigh. Let's go, buddy. Come on. I mean, oh, my God. Dude, put some damn cold, I don't know, put some icy hot on it. Shaq, yo, fake Shaq, where's icy hot?
Yeah, man, put some icy hot on it.
Andre, that was for you. All right. So I think it would uptick Anthony Davis. All right, more games played. I think his stats would be better because Bron's there. PJ Washington. Think about what would happen if he's traded from Dallas to LA. Hello. He would be the third most important fantasy guy on the Lakers behind Luka and Reeves. PJ Washington would have a year that looks a lot like the year he had last year. Good points, good boards, good assists, 1-1-1 with the block, steals, and threes. He'd be a killer fantasy player, okay? He's not going to be in Dallas, but he would be in LA. So that's a huge pivot right there. Maybe the biggest pivot. Luka's stats would go crazy. Like, remember that year he went 34-9-9 in Dallas? Remember that year? That's what I'm talking about. Like, lead the league in scoring, all that stuff. Like, might average a triple-double. I don't know. I feel like we're really, really close to that for Luka. And if he's in better shape and he's all pissed off at Dallas for weight shaming him and stuff like that, go average a triple-double, bro, in your first full season, not in the blue uniform. See how that looks. See how that feels. I tell you what, we'll be out here applauding the hell out of you, Luka. I'm not going to take back anything I've said about Luka because everything I've said about Luka has been factual and absolutely on point. I've had an ongoing feud with Luka for years about the doughiness and also the running tirade thing with the refs is just, it's in his own way. It's literally in his way, and it's a wall created by him. It's just not how you do it. It's just not. I'm not saying you need to have a peace treaty with the refs. I'm just saying the less you bark at them, the more they will look out for you. The more you bark at them, the more they're going to walk away and call the foul on you. It's just human nature, and it's NBA history, and it's never going to change unless Luka changes. Number 6, Austin Reeves' stats would go crazy. If he's the number 2, dude, his stats were awesome last year with Bron and with Luka, okay? Austin Reeves he's like, what do you say? He's a dormant fantasy beast. Like, he's a really good fantasy player right now. But he has a chance to become like a top 20 player if Bron is traded to Dallas, okay? Number 7, told you there's a bunch here. A LeBron trade to Dallas would split up the Dallas centers, creating 2 fantasy monsters. Gafford would be the Lakers center, go off, okay? I'm talking 14-10 with 2.7 blocks. 14-9 with 2.7 blocks. 2.5 blocks. Danny Gafford would threaten for the league lead in shot blocking. I'm telling you right now. Okay, so and then Lively over here, definitely a double-double. Definitely 2+ blocks, okay? Like maybe think of like Jared Allen on steroids. That's what Derek Lively would be down in Dallas. So right now we've got 2 good fantasy players, right? Gafford's a good player in fantasy, deep pick. Same with Lively, okay? And so if you split them up, you create 2 monsters, all right? And then number 8, let's say Klay Thompson's traded to the Lakers, all right? Klay went through the motions last year, especially after the Kyrie injury, the Luka trade. It just sucked all of the oxygen out of the building and stuff like that. So a trade to LA, he'd be reunited with his dad, obviously Laker radio announcer, and he'd be in LA. Maybe change the scenery. Maybe he plays a little bit better. Maybe he's washed. I don't know. Klay, I'm sorry. I hate to say that. I love you, man. But I think we could see an uptick from Klay in LA. That's 8 positive ripple effects in fantasy basketball if LeBron James is traded to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm just saying, this is colossal. All right, so this is potentially colossal. So let's move on here. It is Rick Kamla, solo style, blaring on the fantasy NBA today. This stuff is so fun. How fun is the NBA offseason, man? Raise your hand if you're having fun. Stop it. The NFL is the top league in our country. There's no question. But the best offseason of any of our sports is basketball, and it's not even close. There's not even a comparison. The MLB hot stove goes on for 4 months. It waters it down. It's lame, okay? It's hard to track because 3 months out, the biggest name on the board will get signed. You're like, wait a minute, I thought he was already set. It like deja vu's you, and it puts you in a weird time vacuum. You're like, wait, like it's really stupid. But anyway, let me stick to the script here. Let's talk DeAndre Ayton, because the acquisition of DeAndre Ayton may be the key to keeping LeBron James in LA. As ironic as that sounds, getting a chronic underachiever, albeit with a big name and decent stats, if you don't look at the games played. That guy may be the pivot guy for LeBron staying in LA or going to Dallas, and the pivot guy for NBA history. Because what if LeBron goes to Dallas and wins another ring, gets number 5, passes MJ and Kareem, for me, is the GOAT. All because the Lakers made a move for a chronic underachiever in DeAndre Ayton or not. DeAndre Ayton at the crossroads of NBA history. It's crazy, right? The NBA story and how it unfolds and how the next chapter you have no freaking clue. So the Lakers are obviously, I read that there's mutual interest between the sides. I also read right before I came on here, the Bucks have emerged as serious suitors for DeAndre Ayton, according to Jay Weinbach. All right, let's get in on this. And look, they just lost Brook Lopez. The Bucks did. And I was kind of wondering, like, do they want Bobby Portis in that backup 4 or 5 role, or do they want him as the starting 5? The fact that they want DeAndre Ayton tells me they want a better starting 5 than Bobby, okay? So you can read between the lines something a little bit with that. And so if Ayton goes to Milwaukee, I think it would be a good get for Milwaukee. I think it would be good for DeAndre. I mean, again, I say this with everything else I've said about DeAndre attached. It snows a lot in Milwaukee. It ices up a lot in Milwaukee. I mean, how many times is he going to get stuck in his driveway? It's Milwaukee. Milwaukee has a lot worse weather than Portland, brah. He couldn't even make it to a game in Portland, okay? Does it ever even snow in Portland? I don't know. Maybe do they have mountains in Portland? I don't damn know. Andre, I need a geography class or something around here. I know Milwaukee's fucking cold, okay? And so if he's going to Milwaukee, dude, I put the over-under on games he's stuck in his driveway at 5. Okay, so maybe it's not a good move for him to go to Milwaukee. Anyway, I digress. But DeAndre Ayton is at the crossroads of NBA history, despite being a chronic underachiever. And he's like, to call him a bust is strong. He's got 7 straight years averaging a dub-dub. It's not a bust, but it's not nearly as good as it should be. All right. Andre's love. Andre loves the Fake Shack. Hopefully you guys get a kick out of it as well. We love Fake Shack around here. All right, so I'm about to dive into all these moves, man. Let me put out another. Let's dive in. Okay, and I've got a stack of all the moves yesterday, and I kind of ranked them loosely, right? It's coming in, and I'm just kind of slotting it in here based on fantasy significance or money or just overall weight or my perception of the deal being pretty damn cool. So hard to quantify really how I rank these, but let's dive in. So the Nuggets acquire Cam Johnson from the Nets in exchange for Michael Porter Jr. in an unprotected 2032 first-round pick. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trading every damn thing I got in 2032. 2032? Bro, that's sci-fi. Bro, that's 7 years from now. Bro, are we even going to be here? Like, what, 7 years from now? What's going to be left of Earth in 7 years, bro? Like, I don't know. I hate to get all fire and brimstone on you and apocalyptic, but damn, I can't even fathom 2032. and they traded a 2032 pick. That's my style, baby. That pick ain't doing shit for any of these people. They'll all be retired or fired by the by the time that pick comes around. I mean, the Cronkies will have sold the team. I mean, my God, everything will be. They'll call it Renver instead of Denver in 2030. Are you serious right now? But bro, I like this trade for Denver. I do. Michael Porter Jr. is a solid player. He is. Cam Johnson's a very similar player, okay? He's a combo forward, but he brings a lot more defense to the table. He does. Cam Johnson plays both ends. I would not call him an elite defender because he's not. He's a good defender, but he brings more. He's got a more versatile game than MPJ. MPJ can board a little bit, block a shot or two, but not really. He's basically a three-point shooter. I feel like there's more versatility to Cam. Cam can pump fake you, put it on the floor, and come down and jam on you. On a sloppy closeout, like he'll just pump fake you and like drive and dunk, and like I like that stuff. He's got some diversity to his game, so I just look at that as a really good move for Denver. I think it's a positive fantasy move for Cam Johnson because he's going to a winning situation. He'll be motivated and fired up, and he'll get most of the shots that MPJ got. He's going to slot right into that role. And I think it's bad for MPJ because, pardon me, the Nets absolutely suck, okay? Maybe the worst roster in the NBA and maybe the worst team in the NBA. The fact that they used all 5 of their draft picks, they're not going for a point guard. They're going to groom these young rookies. They're going to be absolutely dreadful. And it's probably going to lead to a shutdown and tanking and all that kind of stuff. So it's not positive for MPJ. It is not. Nickeil Alexander-Walker goes from my Wolves, and we all knew this with Nas and Randall being signed that they'd have to say goodbye to NAW with a lot of love. 4 years and $62 million with the Hawks. He's getting basically starters money to come off their bench. And the Hawks also pick up Luke Kennard on a 1 year, $11 million deal. He was with the Grizzlies last year. All right, in fantasy, neither of these guys are relevant unless you're in a 30-team league, and then both guys are relevant late because you take quality bench players like this in a 30-team league. But you would never, ever do this. You're not even messing with these guys in a 14-team league. You're not. Maybe NAW, but if you're a Hawks fan, but if that doesn't matter to you, you're not messing with NAW. What it is a phenomenal strong. I'm gonna amend that and edit that here live on the air. Phenomenal strong. I'm just gonna say strong. These are strong additions. The Hawks offseason, you trade for Porzingis, you draft Asa Newell, a pick that I loved, and you have a two-way guy in Eli John Njai, and he's a third-string center. So I see Newell, NAW, and Kennard as the core of the Hawks bench. All right. I think they have just acquired a kind of nasty bench right here. And I have a Kongwu coming off the bench behind Porzingis when Porzingis plays, which is half the time. But your bench for the Hawks, as I have it right now, is a Kongwu, Asa Newell, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You got your sniper in Luke Kennard, and you got your point guard in Kobe Buffkin. I don't know about Kobe Buffkin. He's nonstop hurt. Maybe they'll go get another guy there. But I like I like the other 4 guys. I like what the Hawks are doing. I do. They got a low-key crew. They got to have a healthy Porzingis and Jalen Johnson. Good luck with that. All right, we're moving on. But those are non-fantasy relevant moves, but very important in reality. Let's get to a juicy one here. Jordan Clarkson expected to sign with the New York Knicks after he clears waivers after being bought out by the Utah Jazz. I want to thank Danny Ainge for setting Colin Sexton free. I want to thank Danny Ainge for setting Jordan Clarkson free. I want to thank Danny Ainge for paving the way for Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton Jr. to play a lot as rookies. And I speculated that Ace Bailey was going to be a starter from day one, and it looks even more like that. There is nobody in his way at the 2-guard position. You could say Cody Williams or Sensabaugh. I say this guy was the 5th overall pick in the draft, bro. He's got Ja Morant upside. Like you got to play Ace Bailey. To me, you have to, and teams don't always do what I want them to do. But do you remember all last year what I said about Jordan Clarkson and the New York Knicks? You don't, because nobody remembers anything past yesterday. They don't. So I'll just tell you. I screamed all year, the Knicks bench sucks. The Knicks bench needs Jordan Clarkson. Andre Lamouche, tell him. I said it all year. I called this all last year. I pinpointed the guy. I look around the league. I can do this jamming thing. Like, could I sell tickets and sell popcorn and sell beer? I don't know a damn thing about that. Could I run a team, personnel, and do team construction? Absolutely, right now. Hire me. Actually, don't. I love my job here. Andre, don't be mad at me. But I mean, I could literally do this. I've been doing it for 25 years on the side. And you kind of, and obviously fantasy and stuff like that. But this was so obvious to me. You scan the league, you look at potentially available guards, and who's got the firepower, the zip, the it that New York would require. And I targeted Jordan Clarkson. Guys, Jordan Clarkson's a badass. He's a gangster, okay? He takes big shots. He makes big shots. He's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of the stage. He runs into the smoke, not away from the smoke. He's vetted, okay? He is a cam-vetted stud. I like him. I have for years. When he gets minutes, he's actually a good fantasy player. He gives you points, rebounds, assists, a little bit of steals, a little bit of threes. And coming off the New York bench, if he's playing 28, he literally might win Sixth Man of the Year. I'm telling you right now, Jordan Clarkson is a candidate for Sixth Man of the Year, and he may be my preseason pick for Sixth Man of the Year, depending on what else the Knicks do. Because I would like them to add, like a Dorian Finney-Smith type. They're not going to be able to go 4 years and 53, but go get yourself a 3-and-D dog off your bench. They need that badly. And they needed a guy that can zip up for 20 points, all right? Like a Jordan Clarkson off your bench. So I pinpointed this all season long, and I'm super stoked that now it's going to come to fruition, and we're going to see Jordan Clarkson on this Knicks team. And I think he's going to play really, really well. And I already think that the Knicks are winning the East next year. Now that they're bringing in Jordan Clarkson, I feel even more confident about it. I feel the Knicks are going to be in the NBA Finals next year. Cleveland doesn't have the balls for it. They don't. I'm going to call it what it is. They don't have the balls for it. They're super talented. I really like their roster construction, their coach, their love fest. Like, they've got everything except the balls necessary to go all the way and win this thing. They just don't have that killer, that asshole. They don't. They just don't have these intangibles, these next level intangibles. They don't, dude. They don't. OKC did. Indiana kind of did, actually, too. I don't feel like Indiana lost. I just feel like OKC won, right? Like Dallas lost to Boston, right? Boston lost to Golden State, right? Miami lost to Denver. Okay, I don't feel like Indiana lost. I just feel like OKC won. It was different. Like, Indiana was right there for that thing, man. Shout out to the Pacers for that run. One of the best non-championship teams of all time. All right. Karis LeVert going to the Detroit Pistons. 2 years and $29 million. 2 years and $29 million. Hey, Twitter people, we want to tell you guys, join us on YouTube. We would love that if you could do that. If you're watching us live on Twitter, not all of our episodes will be available on this platform. So make sure to join us on YouTube by subscribing to the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. And that would be really, really cool of you guys to do. And so Karis LeVert going to the Detroit Pistons. All right, this has major ripple effects and potentially political ripple effects. Oh, you're not supposed to talk politics, Kamla. It's a joke. Relax. Karis LeVert is the Malik Beasley replacement. The Pistons have moved on. Malik Beasley will not be going back to Detroit. That's what this means. This is big money. 2 years and $29 million for Karis LeVert. This means Tim Hardaway Jr. ain't going back to Detroit. Okay, and they don't need him. And God bless THJ, but last year was weird. It was weird. So Karis LeVert now is going to slot into the backup 2 spot that Malik Beasley held. So your bench right now for Detroit is Isaiah Stewart, Simone Fontecchio, Ron Holland, Karis LeVert, and Marcus Sasser. And their third string is nothing to write home about. There's not a lot of competition for these spots. Jaden Ivey will be back, okay? And obviously Duran, Harris, Osar, Ivey, and Cade will be your starting five. Pretty damn good little team they got there, huh? Karis LeVert is going to be a terrific six-man. He's more versatile than Malik Beasley. Not nearly as good of a three-point shooter, but he's more of a 1/2. He's a playmaker, right? He can make teammates better. He can make a shot. He's a slithery driver, a pull-up guy, and can finish at the rim. I mean, I've always been a fan. He misses a lot of games with injuries, but he's just a rock-solid veteran, man, and he's really going to help Detroit. In fantasy, again, he's a super deep league guy. Like, I would say the starting point of Karis LeVert being on your radar is a 14-team league. And he's barely on the radar of a 14-team league. 16-team league, yeah. Then we're starting to get pretty deep, and a guy like LeVert would look pretty enticing late in the draft. Ooh, yeah, he's going to get surplus minutes off that bench. So it's more of a reality play to me than a fantasy play, but it's a deep fantasy play. For Malik Beasley, and God bless him. We don't know what's going on here, but the indications, the early indications, do not look good. They don't. The fact that Detroit just moved on day one of free agency, and teams know things we don't. Authorities know things we don't. The league office knows things we don't. Coaches, presidents, medical staffers, agents, they know things we don't, okay? They're plugged in, and they're muzzled, and there's stuff that they can't talk publicly about, but they know about, okay? And so it's up for us then to speculate. And that's all the speculation I want to do, because I want Malik Beasley to get through this and be able to play basketball again. But the early indications are not good. They're not. All right. D'Angelo Russell moves on to the Dallas Mavericks. They have agreed on a 2-year, $13 million contract. He's now a deep fantasy pick, and he's a decent sleeper. I will not be taking him. All right. I'm already going to get my point guard business done to a point where I don't need to mess around with D'Lo. Okay. I'll probably be taking another wing or a 3-point shooter or one more little reach up to try to get some blocks at the time where you're taking D'Lo. Maybe I'm taking Alex Sarr when you're taking D'Lo. I don't know how that, how that's all going to slot out. We're still on day 2 of free agency here. But I don't do business with D'Angelo Russell because he misses too many games. He's a game misser, as I like to say. And if he's questionable, he ain't playing. Okay, so he's very high maintenance, and that I don't rock with that. And his stats are going to be okay. I mean, last year he was 12.5 points, 5 assists. I can definitely see him duplicating a line like that in Dallas without Kyrie. When Kyrie comes back halfway through the year, whenever that's going to be, D'Lo will become a bench guy, and then he'll probably go to the waiver wire of your league. So that's what's up here with D'Angelo Russell. There's going to be a little bit of an early season fantasy pop with him. You all enjoy it. I'll be on the sidelines of that. It's just over the years I've come to know this guy, and I've had him on teams, and he misses games, and you just develop that reputation, and you're dead to me. And I like D'Lo as a person and as a reality ball player, but in fantasy we don't do business together anymore. Shams Charania reported the Bucks have signed Kevin Porter Jr. Yes, to a 2-year, $11 million deal. I'm surprised he only got that much money. He only got that much money because of the history. And if you want to know the history, read about it, because I don't feel like talking about it. But he's on the Bucks here. Okay. So a little bit of research here. Ryan Rollins, who he was splitting time with last year, is not on the roster. He was on a 2-way deal, and he's been cut loose. They could bring him back, I guess, but he's a free agent right now. Kevin Porter is the only point guard on this roster right now. You have him and Damian Lillard, and Dame, I don't think, is going to play at all next year. And if he does, it'll be really late in the year. So right now, this is Kevin Porter Jr.'s show. Are you excited? I'm excited. Kevin Porter Jr., if he is playing 30 to 33 minutes, I'll go 28 to 34 minutes. put that window. He's not going to play more than 34 minutes. Really, nobody does. But 28 to 34 minutes, he's going to be a fantasy beast. He is going to be everybody's favorite sleeper. He's actually going to exit sleeper mode and be like top 50, and like you're not going to be able to draft him as a sleeper and get some value. All the value will be sucked out by the hype over the offseason, billowed by guys like me and Dr. A and the great Arabruski. Okay. So obviously I'm in love with this fit. And Doc Rivers, Doc, we're homies, man. Come on. Doc, don't mess this up. Don't overthink this. Don't do this yo-yo bull crap last year you did with Kevin Porter Jr. Play him, bro. Play him. This is not a championship or bust season for your team. Let the young fella go out there and stub his toe and turn it over 7 times and work with him, dude. You're a point guard. Doc Rivers, you're a point guard. Work with him, bro. Give him minutes. Don't see a couple of mistakes and a bad pull-up Jay a little bit too early in the shot clock and pull him out of the game, dude. That's not doing anybody any good. It's not. And who the hell are you going to bring in that's better than Kevin Porter Jr.? Andre Jackson? Stop it, bro. Kevin Porter Jr. should be unleashed this year. Brook Lopez, buzzkillishly, signs with the LA Clippers. This is the perfect fantasy versus reality. In fantasy, this is awful news for Brook. Bye, Brook. It's been good. It's been real. Thank you. Brook Lopez, literally, thank you. I have Brook Lopez all over the place every single year. I love his stat set. You guys know I'm a huge Brolo guy. Splash Mountain, where'd you go, bro? He's a backup to Zubats. Zubats is a beast, bro. Lopez is barely going to play. I already know what they're doing with Lopez, bro. They're Carusoing him. Like what OKC did with Caruso. Carusoing him. What does that mean? That means you pick up a guy who's awesome, you barely play him in the regular season, and you unleash that mofo on everybody in the playoffs. And he is the buzzsaw that makes you different and gets you a chip. That's what the Clippers are doing here with Brook Lopez. They're Carusoing him. That's not good for fantasy basketball, okay? Caruso sucked in fantasy basketball last year, and he won the MVO for Most Valuable Other, according to the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla and Fake Shaq. Ain't that right, Fake Shaq?
Damn right.
So we both love Caruso. He co-signed me on the Caruso thing. So Fake Shaq is digging it. I have Robin Lopez in the Cam Dynasty. He has helped me win back-to-back championships in the Cam Dynasty. And I have Zubats on that same team. I have a decision and a dilemma. Do I keep Brook Lopez as a handcuff to Zubats in case Zoo gets hurt, God forbid? And then I'm just kind of playing Brook on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays when there's not a lot of games, and I'm playing him. He's going to get 20 minutes and nickels and dimes, and like, am I doing that, or am I cutting him and going to the waiver wire? Like, I got a decision to make here. I'm probably going to go into the season with Brook, backing up Zubats. I looked at my roster. I've got some dead weight on my team. I got like Pell Larson, Jared Butler, some guys like late last year as I was making that championship push that I was plugging in, some silly season hero type of guys that are going to be gone and forgotten at the start of this year. So I got to purge a couple of those guys off my roster. And Brook Lopez is probably going to survive that purge. But I would be surprised if Brook Lopez made it through the entire upcoming season on my roster in the Cam Dynasty. And it's a fantasy buzzkill. It's a great move for the Clippers in reality. They're getting an absolute stud. I believe he's still a good player coming off their bench. It's a great move by the LA Clippers here. And what was the money on that? Was 2 and 18? Big pay cut for Brook. He's going from 20 down to 9 per year. But it tells you what the league is thinking about Brook Lopez right now. The league thinks Brook is kind of washed. All right? They do. Here's another big move. It's your boy, Rick Kamla, Fantasy NBA Today. We're breaking down all the moves that went down yesterday. Anything that comes through today will clearly keep you up to speed on this. Santi Aldama gets big money, 3 years and $52.5 million. That's almost $18 million a year, which is really significant money for Santi Aldama. Zach Edey underwent ankle surgery in June, and he's not expected to start the season on time, okay? So Santi, I believe, will now enter the starting 5. and how long, I think Edey eventually will be the starter. Aldama started a lot of games last year. And so his season's going to be uneven, but I think the full body of work for Santi next year is going to be really good. Not great, but like solid. Okay. So this is a nice fantasy move here for Santi. It's also a good reality move for Memphis. They also pick up Ty Jerome. Memphis had a good day yesterday. They did. I looked at their roster, and I'm looking at all these rosters very critically. The word I would give you for Memphis is interesting. They have an interesting roster. I don't love it. I definitely don't dislike it. Like, I like it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting. They've got a lot of players I like. I kind of see the vision a little bit. Like, it's interesting. I'll just leave it at that. And like, where are they going with their new coach and stuff like that? You shouldn't have fired Taylor Jenkins. Shame on you. Still mad at you, Zach Kleiman, for that. Still mad at you for that, bro. You got to start getting these draft picks right, too, Zach. That was once your thing. You got to get this coward pick right, bro. You got to get that one right. Ty Jerome, 3 years, $28 million. I'm a little bit surprised that Ty Jerome is not 10 plus million per year. He's at like 9 right now, almost 10, right? Like, I don't know, 8.9, 9, whatever that works out to, but it's not 10. I'm a little bit surprised by that. So for Memphis and how this slots into fantasy for them with Ty Jerome, to me, it's I got to check up. I was going to say it's a hit to his fantasy value, but I just remembered who the starting point guard of the Memphis Grizzlies is. Ja, half man, half a season, Morant. All right, so he's going to play 40 games, and Ty Jerome is going to start 40 games. Andre, I just pivoted live on the air. I suddenly love Ty Jerome. Do I have him as a winner or a loser? Because I'm going to go through that list here in a minute. Where's Jerome here? I think I've got him on the loser list. I got to take him off the list. He is. Right now. Look, this is all subject to change. Ty Jerome just went to the winner list. Because I remembered who the starting point guard is. It's Ja Morant. Ty Jerome's going to start 40 MFing games next year. All right. And he's going to be decent as a bench guy behind Ja, but, in redraft leagues, you're not really going to want to mess with that. Scottie Pippen Jr., how does this impact him? Not well. Although I do have in my depth chart, I've got Aldama Jackson, who got 5 and 240. Good for JJJ. That went down yesterday. Aldama, JJJ, Jalen Wells, who started all last year. I think if he's healthy, that'll be the case again. KCP. I don't believe they brought him in at $22 million a year to be a bench guy. Y'all can rip on him all you want. I think KCP is going to start for this team. And Ja Morant. Okay. And then your bench is going to be Brandon Clark, Gigi Jackson, Cedric Howard, Scottie Pippen Jr., and Ty Jerome. Like I said, this is an interesting team. Like if Morant can stay healthy, I mean, that's the key. If Morant plays 70 games next year, this team it could be top 6. But I think Scottie Pippen Jr., who played a lot, is the off guard to Ja Morant last year, is going to be the backup too. But it's not like linear like that, right? I just think that they're going to – I think Pippen and Jerome are going to be out there together. I don't think Jerome is going to be second string and Pippen's going to be third string. Pippen's too good. Pippen became too big of a part of their plan last year to go back to being a third string guy. He's going to be a second string guy, albeit like he's a point guard, right? And so Ty Jerome's maybe got some combo guard in him. I mean, who cares? They're guards off the bench, but I think both of them are going to play pretty good bench minutes. But it's going to be tough in redraft leagues, okay? Again, these are deep league fantasy specials here. These are better moves for reality than they are for fantasy. But so maybe the Ty Jerome thing is a little bit different with considering that Ja Morant's going to miss half the games. Houston continues to make moves. All right, Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 years, $53 million, going to Houston. He will be the backup to Jabari Smith. And they also get Clint Capella, 3 years, $21.5 million. I literally cannot believe that the Houston Rockets signed Clint Capella. That's a what the hell are you doing move right there. I mean, like, I get what they're doing. They have created, the Houston Rockets have created, give me 1 second. The Houston Rockets have created the second deepest roster in the league behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is after giving up Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green in the Kevin Durant trade. And right now, after that trade, they have the second deepest roster in the NBA. I'm going to break it down for you. I don't just make statements like that. Your starting five is Alpi Şengün, Jabari Smith, 5 and 122. Kevin Durant, who's soon going to get paid. Amen Thompson, Fred VanVleet just got 2 and 50. Okay. Steven Adams got 3 and 39 to come back. He'll be the backup too. Yes, Şengün, Steven Adams, and Capella are your centers. Right? Capella can still play. He doesn't suck. He ain't done. Okay. I would have loved to have seen him on another team, but anyway, we're talking about Houston here. Okay, your second unit is Steven Adams, 3 years, $39 million. Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 and 53. Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, and Reed Shepherd. If you don't love that bench, A, you suck, and B, you don't know anything about basketball. Steven Adams, DFS, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, and Reed Shepherd. That might be better than OKC's bench. I haven't put the two. OKC just won the chip, so I'm going to just give it to them. That's the second best bench in the league, okay? Here's their third unit. Here's the Rockets' third unit. The guys who are never going to play. Clint Capella, Jeff Green brought back on a 1-year deal. Jae'Sean Tate brought back on a 1-year deal. Aaron Holiday brought back on a 1-year deal. All 4 of those guys could easily be second unit guys on any other team. And they're third unit guys for Houston. Houston has a ridiculous embarrassment of riches of depth. It's ridiculous, okay? Houston, as long as Kevin Durant's got to play 70 games. Come on, KD. Come on. KD, you're my guy. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. You're on my little team that could. This could really be happening here. Let's go, dude. I'm a Wolves fan, but I also kind of like the Magic and I kind of like the Rockets. I'm weird that way. I'm a nerd that way. Basketball nerd. Not a dork, though. You call me a dork. We got problems. You can call me a nerd, not a dork. Shams Charania reports that Luke Kornet is going to the Spurs, 4 years and $41 million. So not good for fantasy. What we wanted in fantasy was him to become the Celtics' new starting center and, doing all this. He had the 7-block game late in the year and all that. That ain't going to happen now that he's in San Antonio. It's a bad fantasy move for Luke Kornet. It's a great financial move for Luke Kornet, 4 and 41. I did not think he'd make that much money, right? Okay, if you told me that Luke Kornet would get 4 and 41 and Ty Jerome would get 3 and 28, I would have said, you are crazy. Here's a plastic cup. Go urinate in it. Okay, so that's nutty to me. But I had a vacant spot behind Wemby on my depth chart for the Spurs at the center position, and that's now been filled by Luke Kornet, who's a terrific backup big. So it's a great reality move and a bad fantasy move. And Luke Kornet, maybe if you have Wemby late in your draft, you're going to need to take a little bit of Luke Kornet and attach those two guys just in case Wemby gets hurt or something like that. Because if Wemby gets hurt, Luke Kornet will be unleashed. So maybe you do want to pair up those two guys together. Bruce Brown going back to the Denver Nuggets. Aw. This is like I'm looking at a 1-week-old beautiful baby, right? Aw, right? One of those deals. Or like a gaggle of puppies. Aw, right? It hits you like that. Like Bruce Brown's going back to Denver. Aw, yeah. Dude, we've been talking about this. When did the Nuggets win? Andre, was that 23? It was 2023. 21 was Milwaukee. 22 was State. And 23 was Denver. Okay, so that's 2 years ago. We've been talking about this for 2 years. We all know the story. Denver wanted to keep him. Bruce wanted to come back, but they couldn't keep him. They had the restriction on what they could pay him. He got the huge payday from Indiana, ends up on the Raptors. I don't even damn know what team he ended the season on. Literally, I don't. I lost track of the Bruce Brown thing. He got traded and moved and never bought. I don't even know. Andre will tell me here in a minute. All I know is he was a free agent and the Denver Nuggets got him. I would say right now, trivia question, if you back me up against the wall, I'd say he ended the season as a Raptor. Am I right about that, Andre? Did he end the season as a Raptor? I love this back and forth with Andre, who's always the best fact checker. He said wrong. Who did Bruce Brown end the season with last year? Now that is a trivia question. I have no idea. The Pelicans. Yeah. I'm having a good laugh here. Hopefully you guys are having fun with your boy Cam. It's the Fantasy NBA today. We're breaking down free agency in the best fantasy way possible. Oh my God, you're right. He ended the season on the Pels. Remember, we were playing the mind games, Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown, and are they going to play? How much are they going to play? Jordan Hawkins and Antonio Reeves. And remember that damn headache with the Pelicans at the end of last year. That's right, Pelicans. Anyway, Bruce Brown is on the Denver Nuggets. Okay, Bruce Brown could become fantasy relevant, a la Russell Westbrook last year. Russ is not going to be back in Denver, it appears, and Bruce Brown is going to be in that Russell Westbrook role, right? Playing 24, 25, 26 bench minutes, putting up a good PRA stat line. He's a very good PRA guy. A little light in the fantasy gold, not a three-ball guy, pretty good steal guy. But in deeper leagues, Bruce Brown's going to be a guy you look at, 16 plus, 14 team leagues, maybe 12 team leagues, definitely not. But but I like the move in reality for Denver. Now, Denver's bench is Zeke Naji. I would bring back DeAndre Jordan. I would. He was good in limited time last year. Naji's more of a third string center to me. Anyway, Deron Holmes, who blew a tire last year, impressive rookie, didn't play. He's going to be back this year, and I like him a lot. Peyton Watson, Bruce Brown, and Jaden Pickett. So not that great. Honestly, not that great, okay, of a bench. I feel like they need you need Westbrook. Bring Westbrook back. Like if Pickett's your third string point guard and like you have Westbrook and Bruce Brown and Peyton Watson and Deron Holmes and whoever it's at, yes, okay, then. But right now, like, is Jaden Pickett ready to be like a real, like, difference maker every night behind Jamal Murray? I mean, he did have some decent games at the end of the year. I believe he had a triple-double filling in for Murray at the end of last year. But still question marks for me with Pickett. I would look. I just feel like they need one more spark guy. Bruce Brown's not a spark guy. He's a solid jack-of-all-trades guy. I feel like they need an octane guy, like Russ, like Clarkson going to New York. That's octane off your bench, right? Cam Whitmore is octane off your bench. Like, that's what I'm looking for. This, to me, is octane off your bench. For Orlando, they signed Tyus Jones to a 1-year, $7 million deal. And Tyus Jones now, look, Orlando in reality is one of the big winners of this offseason for me. I love what Orlando has done. They turned KCP and Stuff into Desmond Bane. Hello, okay? Tyus Jones is now your backup to Jalen Suggs, who also misses a million games. And you still have Corey Joseph. Now your third string guy. That is where he should be, not starting. So Tyus Jones will be your backup one. He's right there for the best backup point guard in the league. And Suggs is going to miss games. So then he'll be the starter and you'll be fine. So I love that move. Love that move. In fantasy, maybe you want to attach him to Suggs. Maybe you're just dealing with other point guards at that time. But in fantasy, no, I mean, he's a backup. But in reality, it's a great, great move for the Orlando Magic. And I'm happy for Tyus Jones. He's in a good spot. Gary Trent Jr. has agreed to a 2-year, 7.5. This is so low dough, right? Torian Finney-Smith, 2-year, 7.1 to go back to Milwaukee. So let me go back to my Milwaukee depth chart here. You've signed Portis 3 and 44. Prince is back. Kevin Porter re-signed. And Trent is back. So you're bringing the band back together. Brook Lopez clearly has gone to the LA Clippers. But Milwaukee's bringing all these guys back. Is that the right move? I don't think they have a choice because it feels like Prince and Trent are on veteran minimum contracts. Porter Jr., I still can't believe he's only at $5.5 million a year. And Bobby Portis, to me, is a little bit underpaid at 44 over 3. So all these guys must love Milwaukee. Trent, once again, will be a very flimsy fantasy player. Torian Prince will be a streamer on light nights, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Oh, I got an open roster spot. Oh, let's throw some Torian Prince at the world. That's all these guys are, okay? They're not really – Gary Trent's a little bit more fantasy relevant than Torian Prince, but not much. And Kevin Porter Jr., already talked about him. I'm in love with his fantasy prospects for next year. Trey Jones goes back to the Bulls, 3 years, $24 million. This does not have fantasy impact at all. Free agency is really a lot of bench players and role players moving around. There's not a lot of sex appeal here. Trey Jones right now is my third string point guard on the Bulls, behind Josh Giddey and Ayo Dosunmu, and then you have Trey Jones. So unless they make another move, Trey Jones is going to be buried. Good for him. He got $8 million a year for 3 years to sit on the Bulls bench and listen to my homies Adam Amin and Stacey King howl at the moon on Bulls broadcast. Shout out to my guy Will Perdue as well. Dennis Schroeder is going to the Sacramento Kings. As I got this, the terms were not announced. I presume it's a 1-year veteran minimum deal. Fred Katz announced this one. So it's a good reality move for Sacramento. It is a fantasy move that doesn't move the needle at all. He'll be the backup to Malik Monk. And you've got Levine and DeRozan and Murray and Sabonis. You still have Keon Ellis. They drafted Nick Clifford, who's a wing, 24th overall. He's going to play. You have Valanciunas backing up Sabonis. You need at least another forward on this team to fill, the second unit. And the third unit is, I view my depth chart right now. But Dennis Schroeder, just like he was in Golden State, just like he was in Detroit, is going to be a backup one. He's going to have he's going to have sparse pop games. Like once every 2 weeks, he'll have a 17-point game. Oh, wow, Dennis Schroeder. Oh, my God, I got no pair. No, you don't. Leave him on waivers unless Malik Monk gets hurt. But if Levine or Monk or any of these guys get hurt, the first guy I'm pivoting to is Keon Ellis. Okay, and then Schroeder. So it's a reality move, not a fantasy move, but I kind of like it. Dennis Schroeder is your backup point guard. I think he's an elite backup point guard. I do. But it's more of a reality play than a fantasy play. I mean, damn, make it a drinking game. How many times have I said that in this show? And I'm going to say it again. Jake LaRavia to the Lakers, 2 years, $12 million. I'm actually sound asleep on this move. Jake LaRavia's he's not a shooter, not efficient. He's a little bit of a fantasy gold guy. But on the Laker bench, and if they trade, like if he's playing behind Bron, there's no value there. And if they trade Bron and bring in all these guys we've been talking about, there's no value there. So I'm going to keep it moving here. Kevon Looney leads Golden State for the Pelicans. What are the Pelicans doing? I mean, what are they doing? Joe Duma. I love Joe D. I do. I'm not going to bang on Joe D. You are not going to get me up in here banging on Joe D. It's not going to happen. I got too much respect for the Hall of Famer. League executive, been around the league a long time. I've had many conversations with Joe. I'm not going to bang on Joe Dumars. But this move right here, I just don't understand. Dude, you've got Yves Missi, and you just brought in Derek Queen, and now you're bringing in Kevon Looney. What's the plan here? Is Looney the OG? You don't pay OGs $8 million a year, like Joe Ingles in Minnesota, Garrett Temple in Toronto. They're OGs, which means, and I love the OGs, it means you don't play. You get like James Johnson in Indiana. You never play. You practice, work out, and all that kind of stuff, but you are there for veteran leadership. Be another coach. Remember Juwan Howard, Udonis Haslem in the late Miami Heat years. You don't pay OGs 2 years and $8 million a year, okay? He was making $8 million a year for Golden State, so he stayed static with the money he's making. Good for Kevon, but he's the third string center, as I have it, on the New Orleans Pelicans. No fantasy relevance here at all. And I don't really see any reality relevance here other than him maybe being an overpaid OG. I know what they're thinking. They're trying to bring in championship DNA and vibrations into their program down there in New Orleans. I mean, I know what they're trying to do. I just don't like it. Mason Plumlee, 1 year, 3.6 to the Hornets. And so now this actually does have fantasy relevance, not for Mason Plumlee, but for the situation in Charlotte. Charlotte now has 3 centers. Are they going to add a fourth? I kind of don't think so. Maybe they bring back Taj Gibson as their OG because he's been their OG. And maybe he's their fourth center. But you have Moussa Diabate, you have the rookie Ryan Kalkbrenner, and you have Mason Plumlee. You now have 3 centers, okay? And your power forwards aren't centers. Miles Bridges, Grant Williams, and Tajon Salon. All right, so they have, on my roster right now, you've got 17 guys on my Charlotte roster, including like KJ Simpson, Liam McNeely, Sion James, like guys like that. They're at 17 right now. So I don't see a lot more movement here for Charlotte. And they're Charlotte. What the hell are they going to do? Right now, Moussa Diabate is the starting center for the Charlotte Hornets. And it could be Kalkbrenner. We had Tim Woodson on yesterday. I had 3 bites of a breakfast sandwich, and I'm like burping. What the hell is that? It's weird. He thinks Ryan Kalkbrenner is going to start for Charlotte this year. He could. I'm not putting a cap on the kid. I liked him in college. But that is the land of opportunity. The center position for Charlotte right now. And that there's going to be a lot of fantasy debates. Who do you like better, Kalkbrenner or Moussa Diabate? You remember Moussa Diabate showed us some stuff last year. Some decent goodies. Not the shot blocker I want him and need him to be. Okay? Keep a little memory on that. But yeah, Mason Plumlee has gone to Charlotte to really jam that thing up. And we got huge news. What's going on here? Because I've been rolling. We got some news to talk about. All right. Well, let me get to this Myles Turner news. What? No. I don't like it. Myles Turner has left the Indiana Pacers for the Milwaukee Bucks. Buzzkill. I don't like this. Do you guys like this? He's going to Milwaukee with no Dame. Indiana didn't have 107/4 for Myles Turner. Did Indiana make the decision to not sign Myles Turner and pay him that money, which reportedly, Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, they could have paid him? Did they make the decision not to do that because Halliburton's going to miss the entire season and they don't want to go big on an investment in a largely empty year without Halliburton? That's what this feels like to me. But God bless, they've made so many good moves, and Kevin Pritchard's my guy. It's my buddy, man. I need some more reporting on this, Andre. I need to know why Indiana let him go. Oh, by the way, to their arch rival, Indiana and Milwaukee is a rivalry now, guys. Over the last 2 years, it's brewed. It's been pretty spicy and pretty electric and pretty awesome. This is big news. This is big news. All right. So Bobby Portis now is back where he was. A good bench player, a fantasy relevant guy, but a deep draft pick. Myles Turner, right back where he always is, 5th, 6th, 7th round. He's going to do the same statistical stuff that he did in Indiana, I believe. I don't really see any change there. I think they're going to play him the minutes that he usually gets and all that kind of stuff. So I think Myles Turner will be the same Myles Turner in Milwaukee. I mean, look, for the Bucks, it's a great get. What can I say? The Bucks are, even without Dame, going for it. They are. You bring in Turner, you re-sign Lopez, you re-sign Prince and Trent and Porter. Giannis doesn't want to be traded out of Milwaukee, okay, according to reports. Super important. Myles Turner's not signing that deal with Milwaukee if Giannis wants out of town. So I think the moves that Milwaukee is making are also an indication here that Giannis is going nowhere. Giannis is loyal. He's in Milwaukee. And he's staying in Milwaukee, and they're going to try to work it out. That's where it's at. There's also some news here on Gershon Yabusele. Ooh, I like this. 2 years and $12 million to the New York Knickerbockers. Oh, yeah. I like this. And I'll tell you why I like this. Because they're about to add Jordan Clarkson. And now they're adding the dancing bear, a man we like to call Yabu around these parts, The Knicks have one more piece to add. Another brick in the wall. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, they have one more piece. Because the Knicks bench is starting to look kind of tasty, folks. You got Mitchell Robinson, Gershon Yabusele, an open spot, Miles McBride, and Jordan Clarkson. Right now, Clarkson, McBride, Yabu, and Mitchell Robinson, I'm good. Okay, you got a 9-man rotation. Your third unit is Hook Porty, however you say his name. Diawara, the guy they just drafted, 51 overall. Pacome Dadier, I believe I'm getting his name right. First round pick last year, never played. Kevin McCullough, is he still on the roster? He's still on mine. I don't know if he's still on theirs. Anyway, and then Tyler Kolek, who was the 34th overall pick last year, and we all like Tyler Kolek. He slates as their third string point guard right now. They need, to me, one more guy. Just a veteran minimum, mercenary 3-and-D, like Yabu's a power forward. They need like a 2-3 wing. That's all they need. Do I have my free agent list here? I can maybe even find you the guy right now. Andre, if I'm taking too much time, just let me know here. But where is my NBA free agent list? I don't know, and I got to look for it, and I got a bunch of paper, and I just throw them on my. I have no freaking idea. Who cares? But that I've diagnosed what they need. They need like a lower tier Aaron Nesmith type. Like Nesmith's an elite 3-and-D guy. You're not going to get an elite 3-and-D guy at the veteran minimum, but get a mercenary at the veteran minimum. Okay, wait a minute. Wait, what is this Lillard news? Okay, so the Milwaukee Bucks are waiving Damian Lillard and stretching the remaining $113 million on his contract in order to acquire Myles Turner. Lillard's 2 seasons in Milwaukee came to an end as he rehabilitates a torn Achilles. Wait a second. They're waiving Dame and stretching. Okay, so what I know about that, and I'm not a CBA expert, is that Dame's done with Milwaukee. That's how I'm reading this. He ain't going back. And when you stretch it, it allows you to like play out the cap hit years and years and years, as opposed to having it all just hit you right now. Again, that's a very rudimentary and basic and maybe even wrong explanation on this. But that's how I'm reading it right now. Interesting. You know what I wonder? Can they re-sign Dame next year? Will Dame take this whole year off and not get paid this year to rehab? Wait a second. I have another question. These are guaranteed contracts. You can't just waive Damian Lillard and then not pay him. So Dame gets all that money, right, Andre? How does he not? Or was it set up in his contract where it was contingent on stuff? To me, that you got to pay him. Like if Phoenix wants Bradley Beal to leave their team, and they may just send him home. Like if they can't trade him or negotiate about, they may just send him home and he'll be on the roster, but he just won't be on the team. Or they buy him out, right? But that means Brad Beal gets that money. DeAndre Ayton just got bought out by Portland. He got like $25 million to walk, okay? I mean, man, this is huge news. This is absolutely huge news right here. So Damon, Andre's helped me out here. Andre Lemus is our great producer, and he's brilliant. He says it means they will keep paying Lillard for several years, so it counts less to the cap each year. Okay, so I had the stretching thing, right? He said Lillard can now sign with any team. They keep paying him during several years. Aha, so they stretch it out. So it'll be like an annuity for Damian Lillard. So he'll get, like, this money will be, like, chopped up, and, like, maybe even he'll be retired. And GMing a team or in movies or some damn thing, or on a worldwide rap tour, okay? And he'll be getting, I don't know, a $10 million check in 2032. Oh, 2032 comes back to haunt us here, Andre. All these moments later, all these news elements later, and we come back to 2032, and Dame's still getting paid by the Milwaukee Bucks. The Dame thing to Milwaukee, that didn't really work out very well, did it? But Myles Turner is a Buck. Dame is now a free agent. This is so interesting, and I'm going to cap this right here. Like, does Dame sign a veteran minimum deal with somebody? They rehab him next summer. Then, they max him out and give him the money that Dame deserves, and then they just kind of created Dame out of nothing. Like, that's what I would do if I were a team. I would be on the phone right now. Yo, Dame, I want you. I know you ain't going to play a minute for me this year. I don't care. I'm playing the Nikola Topic card. All right. The kid on OKC, they drafted lottery last year and just shelved him all year. Andre says about $22.5 million in dead cap money every season through 2029-30. So Dame is going to get $22.5 million per year from the Milwaukee Bucks through the 29-30 season. Am I reading that correctly? Yes, he says, for not playing for the Bucks. Should the Bucks have just hung in there with Dame and not gone to get Myles Turner? I don't know. Dame's pretty good. The Bucks will have $22.5 million less available on their cap for that long. What are the Bucks doing? Okay. Like, this is such in real time. I think the Bucks have massively screwed up their team. What are they doing? Why would you do this? By the way, this has never happened before. This is the first time this has ever happened. Unless Andre has another example. I've been doing this since paid to cover the NBA since 96. Nobody's ever done this. They have stretched contracts out. That has happened, but not like this. Not a Dame, I believe Supermax, at least max, big time max contract. And you're going to chop that up and pay a guy. Let's count the years here through 29-30. Okay. 28, 29, 27, 28, 26, 27, 25, 26. 5 years. 5 years. 5 years. This is like taking on a death sentence. This reminds me of when Stern took 5 picks away from the Minnesota Timberwolves for the dumbass Joe Smith fiasco. This reminds me of that. And that was the Wolves being dumbasses and leaving a paper trail and having the NBA investigate them. And, we were wrong. No, boom, Stern cracked a whip on them, bro. Kevin McHale gave me a story. Probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. He said David Stern called us all out there to New York. And Kevin said he'd never seen David that mad in his life. He said David Stern pushed a piece of paper across the table at the Timberwolves contingent, and it was the smoking gun. These dumbasses left a paper trail on their little wink-wink handshake deal with Joe Smith. And David Stern was like, he was like, how dumb can you be? And like Stern was just going off on them. They flew to New York to get a tirade of spittle thrown at them by the late, great David Stern. May he rest in peace. The Bucks are sabotaging themselves. All you have to do is just take it for a year. Embrace the suck for a year. Make it work. Try to make the play-in tournament. You got a great fan base in Milwaukee. They're still going to show up to your arena. I know that fan base, okay? It's a lot like the Minnesota fan base. A little bit gullible, okay? Relaxed, mellow. They go with the flow. They can wait for next year. They can't in New York, but they can in Wisconsin, okay? And so you had a punt year. You had a pass year. Nobody was going to put any expectations or anything on your squad without Dame. You literally could have just coasted through next year. And then you get Dame back and you go back forward again. There's no way Giannis insisted on them doing this. Oh, the only way I'm not going to ask for a trade and ask out of Milwaukee is if you guys completely fuck up your books for 5 years to help me win The 5th seed in the East this year. There's no way Giannis told him to do this. Because there's player empowerment, and Giannis definitely has a ton to say with this team. There's no way Giannis said, you either screw up your books for 5 years and say goodbye to Damian Lillard so you can get Myles Turner so I stay here. There's no way that happened. None. Giannis is too smart for that. Okay, I need to get hit upside the head with a baseball bat with intel explaining me the wisdom to what the Bucks are doing here, because I know what the F is up, and this seems like insanity to me. Just take the punt year. Just take it, bro. Boston, it's just taking it. Now, they traded Drew and they traded KP, but they probably needed to do that anyway. Drew's game is fading. Porzingis is a half a season player. He already helped them win a chip. Like, I'm okay with that. I am. If you trade Tatum, Brown, or White, I'm not okay with that. Okay? Take your hit. Embrace the suck. For 1 year, you just won the freaking chip, bro. And I know you're Boston, but guess what? They'll be coming out every game too. They're going to pack the TD Garden. It's Boston. Come on, man. There's no way, though, that Giannis put the Bucks front office up to this. If I find that out, I'm going to be mad at Giannis. There's no way Giannis said, I need you to literally mortgage the next 5 years of your salary cap and your financial ability to go get Myles Turner while saying goodbye to Damian Lillard, and that's the only way I'm going to stay here. There's no way that's what happened. There's no way. And again, if I find out that that's what happened, I'm going to fall out of my chair, and I'm going to say some stuff on Twitter that's probably going to get me in trouble. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I don't do that. I'm too smart for that. I just say that stuff in my living room where nobody's listening. But you got to be kidding me, man. Guys, if you're watching us on Twitter, make sure that you join us on the Sports Ethos YouTube channel and on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. We just got a whale in the swimming pool. That was huge news. And probably about a 20-minute soliloquy on that. We got to wrap up this little ditty right here, folks. Garza goes to Boston, 1 year, $5.5 million. I'm not a Luka Garza guy. It's just a typical Boston move. Trendon Watford goes to the Sixers, 2 years, $5.3. I believe I had him on their second unit. Where did I have Trendon Watford? No, third unit behind Oubre and Justin Edwards. So not a fantasy relevant move there. The Grizzlies are looking to reship Cole Anthony. The Nets made a couple of yawn moves. Day'Ron Sharpe, Zaire Williams brought back each on 2 year, $12 million deals. No fantasy impact at all, nor with Batum going back to LA, Jayshawn Tate going back to Houston, Joe Ingles going back to Minnesota, or Colin Gillespie going back to Phoenix, unless, of course, Devin Booker gets hurt, and then Gillespie will have a little bit of value there. So Andre's asking me a question here about Indiana. Did Indiana bring back Thomas Bryant? Did I miss that? I haven't seen that. I know they have Isaiah Jackson coming off the Achilles. They picked up the option on Tony Bradley, and you have and Thomas Bryant. Last I checked was a free agent. If they backfill that spot with Jackson, I like it, but it's his first year off the Achilles, so I have major questions there. I don't think he'll play big minutes. Rick Carlisle doesn't trust him, first of all. Okay, he's had many opportunities before, and TB is still a free agent. If they bring back Thomas Bryant, I like Thomas Bryant. I mean, he showed us moments blocking shots, hitting three balls in very, very little time in the NBA Finals. This guy's a guy. I like Thomas Bryant. Always have. Yeah, if they bring back Thomas Bryant and he's the starting center for the Indiana Pacers, he is a fantasy sleeper, no doubt about it. Tony Bradley is not a fantasy sleeper. Tony Bradley has always sucked as a fantasy player, and nothing is going to change with that. Isaiah Jackson has a chance to be a fantasy beast with the shot blocking, but the kid just can't seem to put it together. But I do have my eye on him, and I have my eye on this situation. And we have your eye, and I have my eye on you guys as well. Really appreciate you guys. I'm going to save my winners and losers for another episode here. We're an hour and a half in, and we've had all this breaking news, so we're going to cap it right here. Really, really appreciate you guys. I would love it if you guys retweeted the show on your timeline. Let them all know that your boy Cam is rocking the offseason, typically with Dr. A, Steve Alexander, and Aaron Brewski. Today I'm solo style, but we're breaking it down at the highest level possible. Download our app. Go to your favorite app store. It's completely free. And we have blurbs for MLB, NBA, and NFL. They're comprehensive. They're awesome. It's free, and it'll be on your phone, easily accessible to all that news. And go to sportsethos.com and subscribe to our work. We have grandfather programs that are going to lock in your rate. And as we add value to the program, you're going to be having more and more value from your package with your subscription at sportsethos.com. For Andre Lemouche and all of you for watching and listening, thank you so much. I am Rick Kamla, and we will see you very, very soon. This episode has been brought to you by Bet Online.